The hour that doesn't exist. I used to think the town just slept through the night, until I realized I was the only one who still existed at 3:33 a.m. I live in a small town called Larchwood. Population 3,021, give or take. The kind of place where everyone knows each other's dogs by name, and where the loudest sound after midnight is the hum of the streetlights outside your window. It's quiet, predictable, safe, or at least that's what I used to think. I work nights at a gas station off Route 9, one of those old ones with flickering fluorescent bulbs and a bell that dings every time someone walks in. It's boring work mostly. A lot of coffee, mopping floors and pretending not to fall asleep during the graveyard shift. But a few weeks ago, I started noticing something strange. Every night, right around 3:33 a.m., everything stops. At first, I thought it was just the power grid. A flicker, a surge, something technical. The lights in the station would blink off for a second. The fridges would hum into silence and the radio would cut mid-song. But when everything came back, it wasn't the same. The time on the wall clock was always frozen. 3:33. My phone wouldn't refresh, no signal, no Wi-Fi. Even the air felt wrong, like it was thicker somehow. And then one night I saw it happen. My neighbor, Mr. Flanagan, old guy, retired postman, was out walking his dog. I was refilling the ice machine, looking through the glass doors when the power flickered. I blinked, and suddenly he was gone. The leash was still swinging back and forth, the dog frozen mid-step like someone hit pause. I stepped outside, heart hammering. The street was empty, silent, not a single house light, no wind. Just the sound of my own breath. When everything snapped back, maybe 10 seconds later, the leash was gone too. I told myself I was tired, hallucinating. I mean, who wouldn't? A 3 a.m. shift does weird things to your brain. But then it happened again the next night, and the next I tried filming it. I set up my phone on the counter, pointed it at the clock. I waited, and when the time hit 3:33, everything went dark. When I checked the footage later, the recording had skipped. A clean, perfect cut. 3 minutes missing. No sound, no static, nothing, just black. I uploaded it to a local forum, asked if anyone else had experienced anything like it. Most people ignored it. A few laughed, said it was a prank. But one user, Sleepless in Larch, sent me a message. Don't stay outside during it. Whatever's moving then isn't supposed to be seen. That message was deleted before I could reply. I went to the police. I told them what I saw, even brought the footage. The officer at the desk, Mills, I think his name was, watched it in silence. He looked uncomfortable, said he'd look into it. When I came back the next day, he was gone. I asked around. They told me Officer Mills transferred out last week. I started keeping track of it. Times, patterns, notes scribbled on napkins. Always 3:33 a.m. sharp, always for roughly 3 minutes. I call it the hour that doesn't exist. It doesn't matter if I'm inside or outside. The world just drops away. Sometimes I think I hear something in that silence, faint like breathing, or whispers coming from behind the walls. Once I swear I saw movement in the reflection of the gas station window. A shape tall and thin standing behind me. But when I turned around, there was nothing. And every time it happens, I feel a little more detached from everything else. Like the world comes back, but I'm not syncing with it anymore. I know how that sounds. I'd think I was crazy too. Except last night I checked the town security cam feed from Main Street. The cameras freeze at 3:33 every single night. For 3 minutes there's no footage, just static. And when it cuts back, people are gone. Not many, just 1 or 2 each night. Like the town is thinning out. Quietly. I tried calling someone higher up, state police, local news, but my emails bounce. Phones go dead. It's like nobody outside Larchwood can see what's happening here. So I'm done pretending it's nothing. Tonight I'm setting an alarm for 3:30. I'm going to stay awake, keep my eyes open, and see what's really happening when the town disappears. If I'm right, I won't be the only one awake for long. That night I made coffee, killed the lights, and sat by my window with my phone camera ready. At 3:32, the clock ticked once and then froze. The lights went out. The air went still, and somewhere outside something started walking. Frozen town. Nothing moved. Not even the wind. But I swear something was breathing behind the stillness. When the clock struck 3:33, it was like the world exhaled and forgot how to breathe again. 1 second, the hum of the fridge and the faint buzz of a faraway street lamp. The next, absolute silence. Not the kind of quiet you notice, the kind that notices you. I stepped outside. The air was thick and cold, heavy like static before a storm. My breath didn't fog. My footsteps didn't echo. The whole street was frozen. Cars sat stalled mid-turn, headlights suspended in the fog like distant stars. A dog hung mid-leap, paws inches from the ground. The newspaper delivery man was caught mid-toss, the rolled paper hovering perfectly in the air. It didn't drift, didn't fall, just paused. I waved a hand in front of his face. Nothing. His pupils didn't move. His chest didn't rise. It was like time had snapped and forgotten to restart. The first few times it happened, I stayed inside. I told myself it was safer to observe from a distance. But that night, curiosity overpowered fear. I needed to see. I needed to understand what was happening to my town, and to me. As I walked further down the street, I realized the silence wasn't silent at all. There was a low hum beneath it, deep, rhythmic, almost like breathing. The kind of sound that vibrates in your teeth more than in your ears. It was coming from everywhere and nowhere. The deeper I went, the stranger it got. The edges of the houses looked wrong. The paint shimmered faintly, like I was looking at a frozen reflection instead of reality. The lampposts were bleeding static, faint white fuzz dripping from their edges like snow. And then I saw them. Figures. Not people, but outlines, shaped from noise. Human-sized distortions flickering at the edge of my vision. Every time I blinked, they changed position a few feet closer. Always just at the edge of clarity. I should have run. But something about the stillness trapped me. Like moving too fast would make the world notice me. That's when I saw the light. A faint flicker downtown, pale and pulsing, like a heartbeat through fog. It was steady at first, then erratic, on, off, on, off. Each pulse made the hum vibrate harder. I took out my phone, more for comfort than use. No signal, of course. The clock still read 3:33, but something strange flickered on the screen. Notifications, unread messages, all time-stamped tomorrow. The sender name was blurred, unreadable, but the first line of one message said, "Don't follow the light." I felt something twist in my chest. My phone screen glitched. Static danced across it, forming half words, faces maybe. Then it went black. I turned toward the flicker again. The light was brighter now, pulsing faster, like it was aware I'd noticed it. And then from behind me a whisper. Not from a person. From everywhere at once. The kind of whisper that slides into your head and feels like your own voice. Stay inside when it happens again. I spun around. The static figures were gone. The whisper lingered, echoing faintly in my ears like the last note of a song. That's when the radio in the gas station behind me crackled to life. It shouldn't have. The power was still dead. But it hissed softly, a single voice cutting through the static. 3:34. Don't be outside, and then sound. The hum stopped. The air rushed back. My phone buzzed, catching up all at once with missed notifications and sounds. The lights flickered on. I turned, and the delivery guy blinked. The newspaper fell. The dog barked. The world moved again. Everyone resumed exactly where they'd left off, laughing, walking, unaware they'd just been erased for 3 minutes. But not everything came back right. As people passed under streetlights, I noticed faint static clinging to their faces. Just a shimmer at first. Then when one man turned toward me, his eyes glitched. Not literally, but they stuttered. Like an image skipping frames. I backed away slowly, heart pounding, pretending I hadn't seen it. He smiled and kept walking like nothing had happened. No one else seemed to notice. Not the noise, not the light, not the way the town felt different now. Off by a fraction of a second, like a skipped heartbeat. When I got home, I checked my phone again. The unread messages were gone. The screen still faintly glowed even after I powered it off. And for the first time, I realized it wasn't just time freezing. Something was editing it. The next night, I didn't wait for 3:33. I set up cameras, notes, alarms, and kept every light on. I wasn't going to hide this time. If something was walking through my town during the hours that didn't exist, I was going to meet it. Static people. They looked like my neighbors, but their smiles stayed on too long. I thought I was ready for what came next. I had my camera set, alarms synced, and notes spread across my kitchen table like a crime scene map. But studying something doesn't make it less real. It just gives you more things to fear. After that first night, I noticed things were different. Subtle, like a skipped beat in a familiar song. People moved the same, spoke the same, but something in their rhythm was gone. Conversations had a half-second delay, a beat too long before they blinked, before they laughed, before they reacted. At first I thought it was me. Maybe the sleeplessness was catching up. But when I waved at Mrs. Reynolds, the sweet old woman who walked her poodle every morning, she waved back, except her hand didn't move naturally. It twitched. Stiff. Like muscle memory without a brain behind it. And her smile. God. It stayed frozen even as she walked away. That night, I started comparing footage from before and after 3:33. I synced timestamps, slowed frames, adjusted brightness. In every clip, people changed slightly after the freeze, eyes reflecting faint static, shadows that didn't align with their bodies. I sent clips to my friend Kyle. He worked at the local news station. When he saw them, he called me immediately. "Bro, this is some AI glitch or compression error. You're overanalyzing." "It's not compression, Kyle. Look." I froze the frame on his own face in one of the videos. His reflection in a storefront window was smiling when he wasn't. Kyle didn't laugh. His tone shifted. "You shouldn't be awake at that hour." It wasn't sarcastic. It was rehearsed. "Kyle?" Silence. Then the line clicked dead. I didn't sleep that night. I sat by my window watching the town glow faintly under the streetlights. Everything looked normal until I noticed movement at the end of the street. A group of people just standing, not doing anything. Just facing my house, I zoomed in with my camera. Their faces were wrong, too smooth like blurred portraits. The clock hit 3:33. Everything froze again, except them. They twitched once, twice, then began to move in perfect unison toward my street. The hum returned, louder now, almost pulsing with their steps. I couldn't breathe. I wanted to look away, but something about their movement, jerky, mechanical, yet too human, locked me in place. When 3:34 came, the hum cut off. The group vanished mid-step, just gone. The town returned to life. The next morning, I checked the footage. The cameras recorded fine until 3:33, then static. Thick, crawling static that filled every frame for exactly 1 minute. But beneath it, barely visible, were shapes. Faces. Hundreds of them. Flickering between the noise, I froze one frame and enhanced it. It was me, my face. Eyes wide, mouth open, like I was screaming silently. My phone buzzed with a new notification. A link from an unknown sender. Missingpersons.gov. I clicked. My name was listed, my photo. Reported missing 3 days ago. I stared at the date. It was accurate. But I was here. I was right here. I ran outside. People were out and about. Laughing, walking dogs, living their normal routines. I ran up to one man watering his lawn and shoved my phone at him. "Do you see this? That's me. Why am I listed missing?" He blinked, tilted his head slightly. "You shouldn't be awake at that hour." My blood went cold. I backed away, tripping over the curb. He kept smiling, that same frozen, too wide grin. I ran until my lungs burned. Past the school, past the library, until I reached the old church at the edge of town. The clock tower loomed above me, its face cracked and blackened with soot. But it was wrong. The clock read 3:33, not moving, not ticking, just frozen, even though the sun was high overhead. A child stood nearby, playing with a broken toy truck. He looked up at me and smiled. "You're early this time," he said. Then he turned and ran into the church. I stood there for a long moment, staring up at the unmoving clock. Every instinct screamed to leave town, to never look back. But something was pulling at me, curiosity maybe, or whatever force was rewriting time in this place. If everyone else was stuck in the loop, then I had to break it. I had to see what happened during that minute no one remembered. That night I set up every camera I owned, hidden in alleys, rooftops, streetlights. I needed proof. Whatever lived in those frozen seconds wasn't content watching anymore. It wanted to be seen. The ones who stay. I didn't film the town disappearing. I filmed it replacing itself. The night I set the cameras, I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I sat in my living room surrounded by blinking monitors, their feeds showing every corner of my little town, the gas station, Main Street, the park, the church. Every frame normal. Every streetlight humming faintly. 32 a.m., my heart was in my throat. I checked my watch again, though I already knew what was coming. A shiver crawled through the air like the world taking a deep breath. Then 3:33. Silence. Not just quiet. Silence. A crushing, suffocating stillness that seemed to erase even the idea of sound. On every monitor, movement froze mid-frame. Cars, wind, everything suspended like time had flatlined. But then, one by one, I saw it happen. The frozen people began to unravel. It started as a shimmer, a translucent ripple around each body, like heat distortion. Then something peeled away from them. A shape, a shadow, a version. The ghostly figures stepped out of their hosts, identical but faint, made of fog and static, edges flickering like a dying signal. They moved with intention, gliding through the still world as if it belonged to them. On screen, my camera at Main Street captured dozens of them gathering in the intersection. They formed a circle, whispering in a language that wasn't words but vibrations. The mic caught it, a sound like teeth grinding underwater. My chest tightened just hearing it. Then I saw one of them bend down, touch a parked car, and the car slid 2 feet to the left, as if pulled by invisible strings. Another ghostly shape adjusted a person's arm mid-air, repositioning it slightly before stepping back, satisfied. They were rearranging things, rearranging us. I cycled through the cameras, trying to find myself on screen. At first I didn't see me then in the feed from my own house. I froze. There I was, sitting in my chair, completely still, and standing right beside me was another me. The second version of myself turned slowly toward the camera. Its movements were smooth, deliberate, unnatural, like someone puppeteering a body who didn't quite understand how joints worked. My double leaned forward, staring directly into the lens. "Stop recording," it said. The voice was wrong. Flat, layered, like multiple versions of me speaking half a beat apart. I scrambled to shut the monitors off, but the buttons didn't respond. My fingers went through the keys like they weren't there, like the equipment wasn't real anymore. The sound of that underwater grinding filled the room, louder and louder, building to a shriek of static and then blackout. All monitors went dark except one, the feed from the church. The camera shook violently as something heavy passed in front of it. Then through the distortion, I saw a tall figure in the center of the square. The other shapes circled it reverently, whispering. It raised one hand, or what passed for a hand, and pointed straight toward the lens. The timestamp flickered. 1, 3:33:22. The frame distorted and then the image changed. The feed wasn't from tonight anymore. The date in the corner read